So we had to race the 500 meters twice, and they add up the 2 times, so the lowest total time wins. But the first day is on day 1, and the next 500 is on day 2, so you sleep on it overnight. Well, I came back day 2. I was sitting in first, actually by a lot after the first day. And my second race wasn't as good, and I had some help with it not being as good. I got a cone kicked into my lane, and some things didn't go great. I crossed the line, and that race was and so I didn't know where I finished overall. And you finish at the end of a straightaway, and so now you're going into a turn, and you're trying to look at, a scoreboard on the back stretch, but you're going 40 miles an hour, and you got to pay attention kind of what you're doing. And there are a bunch of different split times and so on. And it took me, 150 meters to figure out whether I had actually won or not. And the way that I realized it was to make eye contact with Eric Hayden, of all people, who came back to help us as the team doctor. He's an orthopedic surgeon, right? And he gave me the double thumbs up, and I was like, who, me, bud? And he's like, yeah. So that I'll always remember. I mean, he was the reason, that I got hooked in 1980, and then he was the one that told me I won. Was the first, American man to win the 500 since he did 22 years earlier in Salt Lake. And again, not because I was looking for Eric Hayden, right? It just happened that way. And then I remember taking the lap with the flag, in the stadium after, in the rink. And then I remember that night, because they handed out the medals in Salt Lake at the Medals Plaza every evening from the day's events. And that was a profound emotional experience to be able to stand on that podium as you dreamt of since being a little kid, and look at, our flag go up as we listen to our national anthem, and the emotions that it evoked, right? Not just, I thought I'm going to stand on that podium and just tear up and be sentimental and kind of lose it. And I had that emotion run through my head, but then I became just relieved that something I'd always, believed I could accomplish but never knew with certainty I did. And then I remember being thankful, because if you don't have a good day on the right days, it's not going to happen. I don't care how talented or how hard you worked. I remember being proud of everything that I'd gone through to win, but also proud to be an American. This was 5 months after September 11th, and it gave me just an incredible feeling of patriotism and pride to provide, an evening of like USA. And then I remember thinking, what next? This very somber feeling of, I just literally found a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that I've chased for 20 some years, but what am I going to do with it, right? Will I ever have this euphoric of a feeling again in my life? And I mean, I think my resounding answer to that was no. And and at 50 years old, 23 years later, I can say that was an accurate foresight. So yeah, but those are three experiences within the experience that I'll never forget.